you are going to think about every single day of your life. Number one, what you can't control. That's going to be the first thing you think about. Something that you have absolutely no control over. The next thing is what happened to you yesterday. Obviously, that's once again something that you cannot control. And the third thing is, why has it not happened to me yet? Now, you tell me if I'm mistaken, because see, this is kind of why you find yourself going in a circle, and we cannot continue to do that. But I'm going to tell you how you take that and grab a remedy that'll keep you from thinking in that manner. Because earlier today, I had to remind myself of this, that the way your life is going, when you have the real components to it to align you with what your higher good is, then you don't stay there. You remember why that hurdle is in front of you right now, because you got up today and then there was a hurdle and you had to make a decision. Do I wonder why this hurdle is here and not do anything but just salt? Or do you take it and you say, I'm going to find out why this hurdle is here. And so this is kind of what we're going to do, because a lot of you are in the world of entrepreneurship. I actually did a poll, and that poll gave me answers that I needed to see. So I'm going to give you the poll, and then I have a clip that I actually want to share with you, that one of the people that you are a fan of spoke of. So here's the poll. Okay. The poll was, if I learn this, I will be unstoppable. Now, this is you. So far, there's been 2,000 people to take this poll, and I can show you. First, my boxing skills, learning to box. Number two, and I'll give you the percentage of the numbers that people did. Number two, entrepreneurship. Now, if you learn this, this means your life will be it or will catapult 10x. So entrepreneurship was second. Third choice was coaching. You know you need coaching. Okay. There's a percentage of people that know they need that. And number four, if I was if I learned this, I will be unstoppable, which is a wealthy influencer. Now, in order to be an influencer, you gotta know order. You gotta have structure. You gotta just not think you can post a bunch of stuff and it's not out there. Now, let me tell you the percentages of people that chose these things, because you're going to be flabbergasted. If you are watching currently, let me know which one do you think had the most votes. I'll start with the one that's the least. If I learn this, I'm going to repeat the question. If I learn this, I will be unstoppable. The least chosen answer was coaching. And it lets me know who's watching. The second to the last is a wealthy influencer. Okay, there's some promise. It wasn't at the bottom. The third chosen thing is, if you learn this, you'd be unstoppable. The third thing was entrepreneurship. I just don't understand the mindset. There's a reason why 1.7% of the people control all of the wealth in this country. Some people just don't get life at all. And the number one chosen answer was boxing, knowing how to box. 46% for that one. 34% of people said if I was an entrepreneur. 9% said coaching, and 11% said a wealthy influencer. It almost went simultaneously, almost from top to bottom. And the reality is, everything is in the reverse order. It should have been number one if I had coaching, number two, entrepreneurship, Number three, an influencer. And then number four, if I learn boxing, because none of that stuff promises you money except coaching, entrepreneurship. And if you're an influencer, that means you've made it to an influencer. You're just not someone with a social media account. But I got a thing that I'm going to make sure that you guys understand. Number one, if you're going to have any success in your life, and I know some of you out here right now, you're chasing it. But remember the three things that I said you wake up every single day thinking about. Number one, something that you can't control. That's what you're thinking about. So your energy is there, and that's what's cultivating. Number two, you're thinking about why can't you fix something that's uncontrollable and what happened to you yesterday. So you're carrying your past into your present, and therefore you're going to cement what your future is going to be. And the last thing is, why not you yet? You want to be one of these people out in social media flossing. You want to be the top person in your class when you go back to your class reunion. You want to be the guy who's holding the title. You want to be the champ. Why not you yet? Well, I'm going to let you guys hear from one of my guys that, you know, I think a lot of. I don't know if you think a lot of him, but I think he's going to start shedding light, and I'm going to elaborate. So let's hear from Shakur Stevenson.
That talks early this year about retirement. I'm sure a lot of that just comes from the frustration of the business of boxing. How hard is it when you're trying to be great, you're trying to get these fights in, but maybe on the back end, we can't see what's going on. I'm sure it's hard to make these fights happen. Honestly, yeah, it definitely came from like the business of boxing. But I felt as though like, and I still feel as though I think that I ain't gonna say no names or nothing, but I think people blackballing me and they purposely like trying to keep me out the mix and not give me the opportunity that I deserve. But like I said, that's when patience come in me. When the time is right, everything gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen.
All right. So, when you think about that, what's going on with Shakur Stevenson right here is that he's not in control over his life, because one thing that you have to remember about the sport of boxing, and if you're in combat on any level, or if you're coaching, if you're in the training industry or service industry, and the reason why I speak to those other careers is because it does matter that you have a process in place, and you have to learn how to be in control over your own brand. When you're in control over your own brand, and that means you got leverage. When you don't have leverage, what's happening to Shakur Stevenson right now is that he has absolutely no control over what goes on in his life, because he has not solidified, guaranteed, you can guarantee that I'm going to deliver. You can guarantee that I got a big audience of people that love to watch me. I'm the best at what I do, and my fans want to be the best, so they want to be closer, because the number one way to get to greatness is be around greatness. You can't do it sitting in your living room. You can't do it watching television in your den. You cannot be great if you think that the person that's great, that's in your state, that you're never around, because see, you don't understand how greatness operates. When it wakes up in the morning, when it eats lunch in the middle of the day, what do greatness do when it's in the evening time and things supposed to be winding down? See, this is what you have to be clear on. How does greatness actually operate? That's where you take a page from it. I remember when I first got into the gym game, and when I went into the gym, I was green, right? I don't, I always like to share that I came into the sport of boxing and I was super green. So every fighter that came into that gym, they were experienced. So when I got to see things that I had never seen before, because I come from wrestling, I played football. Of course, I was very active as a kid, got in a lot of, you know, scuffles growing up, but understood how to discipline myself, right? these guys had so many different good habits and so many different habits that were only contributing to their prosperity, which is why all of them had success. And one just got nominated into the Hall of Fame and got enshrined in the Hall of Fame. And it was because of the pedigree. And that's what I try to tell you. Who are you mimicking your life after? Because what's happening is a lot of people want success, but they're mimicking their life after their cousin that's hanging out on the block doing stuff that's not going to benefit his career. So therefore, he's going to have that same kind of energy poured into him or you. And you don't want that. You want to focus on watching people who are doing great things. That's why you see all of the elite people around one another. That's why. It's because you learn new habits. So not only did I want to bring my actual knowledge and cachet into the game, because how you do everything is how you do anything. I wanted to learn particular habits of people who reach greatness already. So I got to study Coach Bradley, Coach Adams. I got to study, you know, people who have won big in the NFL. I got to study the coaches and the scouts that brought in guys like Ray Lewis because I was right here in the thick of things. I got to study and watch Junebug, who was Paul Williams' coach, Paul the Punisher Williams. I got to watch him up close and personal. Oh boy, was that a lesson. This guy was always 10 steps ahead of the guy he was going up against. And that's one of the key reasons why Paul the Punisher Williams had such great attributes inside of the boxing ring. He wasn't just a dynamo in the ring, but his coaching. That's why Manny had the success. Manny had a talent, but Freddie Roach was around greatness. So he understood all of the different things that greatness entails. The greatness comes from habits built. When you build good habits, that's the main reason Jordan was 6-0 in championship rounds in basketball is because those other guys got to see him and he got to see Dean Smith at the University of North Carolina. He got to see greatness operate. He got to see greatness coach. He got to see greatness teach. He got to see this up close and personal. And then when he accrued the relationship with Phil Jackson, they all had something in common. And that one thing that they had in common, excuse my camera, is they had preparation in common, because there are two things that you can acknowledge about preparation. Preparation is, excuse me, preparation is the difference between someone who does things great and someone who does things good. A person who does things good focuses more on the actual event, and the person who does things great focuses more on the preparation for that event. So they spend endless hours preparing so that when the event comes, whether it's a Super Bowl, whether it's a championship fight, they prepare. So that's one of the main reasons. Like I appreciate what the guys over in the UFC are doing, because Dana White, he's number one when it comes down to knowing exactly how to create and the framework of something that's going to be successful.
The one that in the sport. When you look at what boxing did, everybody's like, oh, boxing, every fucking event that they put on, it's a going out of business sale. Let's grab as much money as we can from everybody. We don't care if the event is good. We don't care if the people at home enjoy what they saw. They don't care if the people who came and bought tickets liked it.
Right.
We just want to grab as much money as we can. They never reinvested in the sport. Tell me a sport or any business ever in the history of the world that has probably made trillions of dollars in revenue. And at the end of the day, there's nothing there.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Understanding the preparation, understanding what's the protocol in order to have sex. There are a lot of you guys who are actually going to compete or train, or you're in a coaching business. Your services are rendered basically on the service that you offer. Because some of you may be training, but some of you offer a service or a product. And if you don't have preparation, the only thing you're going to be is another person doing what you do. But when you prepare, you have the outcome like Brady. You have the outcome like Jordan. You have the outcome like Tiger Woods. You start to operate like those business moguls like Elon Musk. Like there's a reason why no one individually can catch up to these type guys. They just separate. Even Serena, when she was, vying to possibly quit her career, what happened is right when she wanted to break the record and get to 19 titles, her coach said, "Why are you shooting?" And she started just losing because she set her bar just above where she was. So she wasn't committing to that level that pushed her like she didn't have anything. He said, "I got something for you. Why don't you shoot for 30 championships and then see what happens?" She not only did that, she didn't get to 21 like she had planned. That was her plan, was to win 21. When she set her bar at 30, she started training like she didn't have any. And then she went on another run. And I think it was like 3 or 4 more titles later. She proved that that was the truth about doing this. You get it? And so that's the same thing I'm going to say to you. You got to set your bar higher. Now, it does take a recipe on top of that, but if you do set that bar high, you will be able to reach it. There was a young man who came up under our tutelage. A lot of you just don't have the right people, and he came under our tutelage. I'm gonna let you hear him. I'm gonna give him 60 seconds, and then you can just listen. I received this message because he said some things about how I operated. It let me know that I was on the right path. And one of you right now, you're on the path, but you're not guided. You don't have the proper uh, road painted for you. But this young man just really came into our life, and we decided that what we did is we operate, and we're going to make sure that these guys have the right blueprint, the blueprint that I learned how to give. And so here he is. Give him 60 seconds. Be patient. For those of you who are true fans of the page, listen.
My name is Coach Glenn Hudson. I'm out of Sherwood, Arkansas. Quick video about Coach Bradley and the School of Boxing. I have a very successful program at my gym. We train some of the best amateur boxers in the country. We do boxing for adults, boxing and fitness for adults. I just can't say enough about the School of Boxing. Mr. Bradley, if anybody, if you are a brand new coach starting out, if you are a coach that already has a program that's doing well, if you are a professional coach, if you are at the top of your pinnacle, I've tried to always have a white belt mentality when it comes to learning. And the teachings that Coach Bradley does to the School of Boxing, the content he provides, the podcast, the connection with the students in the program, in the university, as I call it, it's just amazing. I knew a lot about boxing coming into this, guys. But again, keeping that white belt mentality, the skill sets you learn on footwork, punch logistics, on pivot circuits, on block circuits, on the peekaboo style, on the Philly shell, everything, guys, it is a process. It's not something you're gonna learn every single overnight through the School of Boxing, but the School of Boxing is a process that teaches you the right way. And the biggest thing I think about I like about it is the agenda. Like, every day of the week, if you train Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, you have a plan. Now, you can always pivot off and interject your own things through your program that you already have in place, but you have a very structured base to work off of. Every day of the week is planned. Mondays maybe defense, Tuesdays slipping, Wednesdays counterpunch drills, Thursday inside fighting. But they're drills. There's so much content, guys. There's so many lessons that are just invaluable, guys. You can't put a price on it. Coach Bradley and his team are always available. They're very engaging. He uses the word Godspeed a lot, and I'm just feel very privileged to be in the School of Boxing. It's meant a lot to me in my program, and to any coach that is thinking about diving into the program, I strongly suggest and give a a top recommendation. Do it. Don't hold back. Don't wait. Dive in and start seeing your business grow. Start seeing your knowledge grow. And again, just thank you, Coach Bradley and your team and the School of Boxing.
I received that. Sometimes you need to hear you need to get your flowers while you're alive. And when I listen to that, I think all of the days that I was retaining information from the lineage that I'm down from, and having the opportunity to learn from the Archie Moore downline, the George Benton downline, the Coach Kenny Adams downline. There's just nothing else. I mean, Emmanuel Stewart downline. There are 5 people on the Mount Rushmore of boxing coaches, and I got to learn from 4. So everybody that came into our school, they get to learn from those downlines. So they get to learn something that's very unique, like I spoke about earlier. If you want to be great, you got to be around people that have experienced greatness. And so that's what I was able to do. I've taken you all on a journey just over the past 5 days. I took you directly into Miami, South Beach, Miami Beach, Dade County. I took you to the Ali exhibit. I took you to where Ramirez, who was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, down at Brawlers in Miami. I took you in areas. I took you over to South Beach boxing where all of the great champions, there's nobody that's not been there and trained. They shoot movies, all of this stuff. So I wanted you guys to understand that the journey is all about erasing those 3 things that you think about every single day. Number 1, why is it that everything that I want isn't in my lap right now? What happened to me yesterday? And you're always keeping these things compartmentalized instead of taking the leap forward. You're hovering, and those things they're harvesting energy and frequencies inside of you. Once you understand how to combat that, that's where you start to say, I want great things. So I can't allow myself to sell myself out. You're selling yourself out if you're not reaching and putting yourself in circles of great people. If you're around 5 people and 3 of those people have not been successful in anything, you'll be the denominator, your value of those 3 people, the 5 people, because that's the math. That's a real scientific fact. If you're around unsuccessful people, I don't care why you're around them. I don't care if it's because, hey, I just want to be around them. Then you're creating your own mathematics on what your level of success will be, because it takes for you to be in those rooms. And I try to make sure that I put you all in those rooms. When you come into the School of Boxing, I put former world champions, legends, people who are actually a part of the sanctioning bodies. I put you right in the mesh of those people. So you can see that there's a different way to operate. Now, I have one of my guys I really like, and this was a good message that I could appreciate, that there's a beginning for you. You had a beginning, and remember how you're going to start, because I do. And this is how it started for Shakur Stevenson.
How did boxing enter into your life?
My grandfather, he was a boxing coach, and he had other fighters when he played like a little like rec league baseball. And he had took me to one of his baseball games, and he also brought his fighters. And when I met them, I was like 5 years old. I met them, I'm like, man, it's cool as hell that they boxers. So the next day I asked him to take me to the boxing gym. I just fell in love with it.
Well, Lee Moses, man, the legend.
Yep.
Elite Heat boxing gym.
Yeah.
Did my research, man. What was Elite Heat like?
That wasn't even our.
See, in Shakur, Brick City in the building, that ability to be and position yourself where you need to be and who you need to be around. So he was playing a totally different sport. And then all of a sudden, he saw his peeps come and bring his fighters. And he saw that that's what I want to do. I want to be a boxer. And think about his skill set, his natural abilities. Somebody's out there right now, they got a ton of ability, but they don't have a circle. They don't have a group of people. They don't have that actual person that put them where they need to be and put the right people around them. So that's what you have to think about. He found that because it landed in his lap. You know, I'm third generation. I was blessed to be, I was ready at the time when my opportunity came, even though I make opportunities when there are none. Everybody doesn't have that same ability. And so don't underestimate how unique that ability is. But what you can do is make sure that when the one comes that you are ready for and prepared for, I mean, when it does come in front of you, that you are prepared. So the message today is a lot of you are working hard at what you're doing. The only thing is that you don't have the pieces to the puzzle that you got to have. You got to be around greatness and people who have experienced greatness. Not one time that I helped out in the training camp, and that's been over, it's been closer to 60 than 40, but I remember kind of tallying up the number of championship training camps that I've been a part of, and that's the number. I never added more to it. Even when Kenny Porter and those guys reached out to me, George Cambosis and those guys, to help them out in camps, to do film studies, to talk about different things, learn conversations that are necessary. So I push guys. I don't even count those, but I've been well over 60, at least upwards of 60 since then. But here is the deal, and I'm talking UFC ones too. Here's the actual deal. When you posture yourself in the right position, champ, you're going to learn things that you would have never learned because the experience takes so long. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I'm not one of these guys that you're seeing who's been in boxing for 5 years. The amount of things that I've learned in this sport and the people that I've been around great people. I've been around great people just this weekend. Greatness. And I'm mentoring world champions, Olympic gold medalists, Olympic medalists, people who are going into the Hall of Fame or people who are in the Hall of Fame, people who are relatives of people that are in the Hall of Fame and passed away. My job here is mentorship and coaching. And without those things, there are only 3 things that you need in the world to be extremely successful. Number 1, you got to be the person. You need the creator. That's you. And then you need that specialist, that person who makes it real. It could be a lawyer, it can be a graphic design, it can be a website designer. And then you need somebody to manage it, someone that will be there and make sure everything's getting done. And that's your coach, that person who mentors you, that person who does not take shit. They will not listen to bullshit. They will not allow you to tell them anything. They keep it 100 with you. And if you ain't got that person in your life, you're just going to be going around bullshitting yourself. That's not how you get to the higher levels. You will get burned and you will see it. If you have prevention prepped in your life, you'll see the level of success that the people ahead of you saw. But don't try to put the pressure on yourself to do it all yourself, because I can guarantee you, if you do get lucky enough to get there, you won't stay there. Ask Kelly Pavlik. Ask Adrian Broner. You got to have mentorship. You got to have that, because that is opening up doors and it's showing you the mistakes that you're going to make. This is how you prevent them, because you don't always see them coming. So I hope this was something that gave you a little value, and thank you guys for taking the time to watch. This video will be re-uploaded in our Instagram subscription portal, but just keep that in mind. This message was for everybody who is reaching higher to be successful in goals. Get people around you. Don't try to do it yourself. You can't win this game. It's too many things coming at you. But remember, don't worry about what you did yesterday, and don't worry about things that you can't control, and don't worry about why have you not been chosen yet. Those 3 things will be the deficit of your growth, and it will be the maniacal drive that you have once you get around the right people. And that's how you get to the next level. The people, the denominators of 5, that you call your circle is what will ensure that you're there. So if I can answer any questions, make sure you just take the poll that's in our stories, leave a message, and remember, you're going to reach that level in God's speed, but you got to follow the process. That's all I got. Thanks again. I see you guys tomorrow. We're going to have a super. We got coaches who've reached out. Coach Ramirez, Coach is Tinyo. It's something unique, but it's Tinyo. You know who I'm talking about. Tomorrow, the sale goes on the website, so you can definitely take advantage of those 4th of July sales. Happy Independence Day over here in the USA, and for all of those families and individuals who took part and served, and everybody that's over here who's trying to reach higher. We're all pulled together if we all just open our mouths and don't be afraid to get into the winning circle. That's all I got. Special shouts out to my brothers in the School of Boxing. This is the winning circle. Coach Paul Haraber. If you're out there in Warrnambool, Australia, go check them out. Paulie's Boxing. All right, guys, be blessed at Godspeed. Peace.